Hello fellow YouTubers, I'm Cassandra Joy and welcome to my channel. I was pretty stumped on what to film for today's upload. I don't know if Vlogmas sort of drained me of all of my creative ideas, but I just felt like I couldn't think of anything exciting to film. I had no plans with friends, I had nothing really going on, which is usually what I plan my filming schedule around. So I went to Instagram to ask for advice. I asked you all what you wanted to see in the next upload, and one of you lovely followers suggested that I do scrapbooking, more specifically a vision board for 2022. And I thought that was such a cool idea. I love scrapbooking. I've loved it for a very long time. I have an entire collection of stuff to scrapbook with. I just never sit down and do it. But I loved the idea of making a vision board for the new year, something you can look at all the time and remind yourself what your goals are, what your dreams are, what you want to accomplish in the new year, what you want to encourage yourself about in the new year. I just think it's a great idea overall. So thank you so much to the person who suggested that. I really appreciate your input, and hopefully you and everyone else watching enjoys the video. I'm gonna walk you through everything I did, but it's gonna be voiceover style, which I thought was kind of different and a little bit fun. It would allow me to sort of explain my thought process after the fact. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell you what I'm thinking in the moment because I don't always know what I'm thinking in the moment. If you decide to do your own vision board, I would absolutely love to see the finished result. Please feel free to DM me on Instagram, link me to your own YouTube videos if you do that, and show me what you did. I love creative spaces where we share creative things. So hopefully this is a good addition to that space and you enjoy the chaotic process that is my ADD brain and overthinking train of thought. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and let you enjoy the video.
Okay, let's get scrapbooking. Just so you all know, I've linked as many of the products I use as possible on my Amazon storefront. I link that in the description box of every single video, and I've made an arts and crafts section where you can easily find most of the products that I use today. This isn't essential for every creative, but for me, I like to set the environment. That usually means lighting a deliciously scented candle. In this case, I think it was maple and cinnamon, something like that. And I wanted to surround myself with some beautiful things, like some newly thrifted finds, including these shell bookends. Such a cool find, so hard to find because people buy them so quickly. But anyway, I wanted all of my supplies near me so they were easy to access as I worked.
Okay. Well, that didn't work, did it?
Things falling over, story of my life. The first thing I wanted to browse through is this Antiquarian sticker book. It's a book series full of different kind of stickers. Mine is the Victorian one. I've linked that in my Amazon storefront for you. It's just the coolest thing. Stickers of all varieties of florals, bugs, butterflies, Victorian dancing couples, Cupid-looking children, anything you can think of in the Victorian era, this sticker book contains. And I wanted to take my time browsing through it to try to gauge what color scheme I wanted to go for, what the theme of the board would be. Obviously it's a vision board, but I like things feeling aesthetic. I like them having connectivity through the colors or the patterns. I don't particularly like my projects looking chaotic. My brain and my process might be chaotic, but the end result, I don't want to look chaotic. So I'm going to keep things nice and organized in this scrapbook, also available on Amazon. I'm partial to brown paper, so I obviously picked the brown one. And I loved that it was a spiral notebook so that it was easy to turn the pages and focus on one section of the book at a time. The next step is deciding the background. This might be the most important step, at least for me, because what I choose will anchor the rest of the project. I wanted a background that was colorful but wasn't too busy. I didn't want it to distract from the design that I would be scrapbooking on top of it. I ended up going for this plain but really pretty pale pink background. It had a slight pattern to it but wasn't too distracting or busy once it was on the page. Just tearing off the excess of the paper that didn't fit onto the page. I could have used an X-Acto knife or something for this, but I kind of liked the rough edge. The hardest part of this project is starting. Picking that first sticker or that first centerpiece, whether or not it's in the center, that anchors the rest of the project is probably the hardest part of the entire process. Once you do that, everything else seems to flow pretty easily, at least in my experience. I wanted to make a label or a title for the page so that I knew it was my vision board instead of just another random page. I love using this Dymo label maker. Not only do you get to pick the color of the label by inserting it into the device, but it also looks like it's been printed by a typewriter, which if you know me at all, you know my slight obsession with typewriters. And it just looks so dreamy and vintage and whimsical, and I love it. So anytime I have to label something, I pull out this Dymo. It's easy to use. It's not expensive at all. It's available on Amazon as well. It's just my favorite thing to use on almost any project. And I was able to make an excuse to use it for this too. You know you're a scrapbooker when you keep all kinds of odds and ends for that just-in-case moment. I forgot that I had stuffed this little notebook with all sorts of odds and ends, and funnily enough, they came in handy. So I feel very justified with keeping what other people might think is just trash or scraps of paper. Oh no, my friend, this is scrapbooking gold. I don't really believe in resolutions because in my experience they don't last more than a week, but I wanted to write some intentions for the year, some broad things that could be applied to all sorts of situations, but were things that I wanted to work on or give myself permission to accept or grow into. And the 4 intentions that I chose were to be okay with change, to make my dreams a priority, to trust the process, and to appreciate the magic of the moment I'm in. I know they sound pretty broad, but I had specific things in mind as I wrote them, and I like that they can be applied to not just one situation, but many. Next, before I glue anything down other than the background page, I like to lay out the pieces that I'm going to definitely be working with. I like to move them around, play with them a bit, see how they feel on each section of the page. Sometimes I add things and realize they don't fit, or shuffle things around and like a different arrangement better. The nice thing about scrapbooking is that there is no right way to do it. It's completely up to your creative freedom, and even though that can be kind of scary if you're not really sure where to start, just laying out the pieces, no commitment yet, no glue is involved, but just seeing how you like the arrangement, seeing what feels good. Eventually, the pieces will all fall into place. That's why I like picking out a color scheme or a theme beforehand. It makes arranging the pieces that much easier. This little piece of paper was so delicate and prone to ripping. I took it from an old book that I thrifted. I feel really guilty tearing words and pages out of books, but if I can't read the language, I don't feel as guilty, so I bought this, I think, Spanish book, definitely a different language, definitely couldn't read it, and snagged a bit of blank paper from the book to use for this scrapbooking project. And it was just so delicate. Anytime I handled it, even if it was gentle, it was just really prone to ripping, so I had to be really careful. But I liked the aged color to the page. I thought it added a little something. Washi tape is an essential to any scrapbooking project. You can buy it anywhere for pretty affordable. I bought this pack off of Amazon, but I've also seen it at Meijer as well. It's just decorative tape. It's pretty tape that you can use to put on the corners of paper to secure them, or just add for a little bit of flair. I liked the ones that had metallic touches to them so that the light would catch it. So I used a couple of different options to tape down the different paper sections here a little more securely. A lot of the stickers I used are symbolic, and I'm not going to share what each of them mean. I'll share a couple for you toward the end. But I had a list of things I wanted to include in the project and tried to pick stickers that I could use to symbolize those things. For instance, I wanted to include something that symbolized travel, because I want to make travel a priority in this year and honestly in every year. So I picked a hot air balloon sticker because I thought it not only symbolized going from one place to another, but also allowing myself to ride the winds wherever they took me, basically to let go a little bit more. Stamping is such a simple but cool way to embellish your project, even if it's not something that shows up really well, but something subtle, even if it's something that hides between images. You know it's there and you know its true meaning, and I kind of like that extra layer of symbolism, that extra layer of meaning. I think it makes a project that much more special. This section of the vision board symbolized my book. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. I've been writing and editing a book for a very long time, and this is something I want to accomplish this year. I want to get it in the hands of an agent who can then get it in the hands of a publishing company. So I wanted to symbolize my book with a few things that represented some things that happened in the story, and the word imagine, because honestly, I wouldn't have a book if I didn't have my imagination. And this is my finished vision board for 2022. I'm really happy with how it turned out. There were a few frustrated moments in between where I wasn't really sure how it was going to turn out. I couldn't really see the full vision yet, but it came together and I really love it. I think something like this can be really helpful, especially if you're a visual person and you need visual representation of your plans, your dreams, your ambitions for the new year. It's just a little gentle reminder to keep yourself on track with what you'd like to accomplish in the new year, how you'd like to grow or change or better yourself in the coming year. And if none of that is important to you, if nothing else, a project like scrapbooking is very calming. I find it really relaxing. I would compare scrapbooking to painting, encompassing all my focus. It's creative freedom. It's putting yourself to a task and coming out with something, hopefully, really pretty in the end.
Thank you all so much for watching to the end. I really appreciate you being here and spending a little crafty day with me. I hope that this video gave you some inspiration. I hope it gave you permission to make mistakes, to not know what you're doing, and to find okayness in being imperfect. As much as I love creative things and my talents lean toward those sort of skills, I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not the best at everything. I'd love to be the best at everything, but alas, I am not. And I think some of that shows in this scrapbooking project. It didn't turn out at all how I was visualizing it in the beginning, but I prefer how it turned out, oddly enough. Mistakes are okay. Imperfection is okay, especially in scrapbooking. I think that's why I don't do it as often as I'd like, because I get hung up on oh, I could have done that better, or oh, that's crooked and now I can't fix it. Those kind of hang-ups make me not want to do it. That's kind of the beauty of scrapbooking, is the handcrafted element of it. It's made with love and creativity, and in this case, intention for the new year. If you feel comfortable, please comment down below some of your intentions for the new year. I know mine are what I wrote down on my board. Being open to change, making my dreams a priority, trusting the process of all of the unknowns that stress me out so much, and appreciating the magic of the moment I'm in. Whether your intentions are broad like mine are or very specific, if you feel comfortable, I'd love to hear some of your intentions for the new year and what you are excited about. And let's be honest, it gives me an excuse to chat to you in the comments, which I love doing. I will leave the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to the person who suggested this video. I'm so glad you did, and I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you stayed to the end. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.